Hello everyone. Today we will move to chapter 5 Fundamentals of C Programming. C is very powerful structured programming language that widely used and that has influenced by many other programming languages. And most of the programming languages that popular today are either direct dependence on C or highly influenced in C. In here, this chapter we will discuss about basics of C programming. C is a great step to start programming as a beginner because it is very simple and easy to understand. So let's get started with C. In here, first we will get some knowledge about history of the C programming language and the features of it. Then we will move to learn about structure of a basic C program, character set in C, identifiers and keywords in C. Okay, we will move to the lesson. History of C language. As I mentioned earlier in the very first lecture, the founder of C programming language is Dennis Ritchie, and it was developed in 1972 at Bell Laboratories in USA. C is based on two programming languages, B and BCPL, which are invented earlier in the Bell Laboratories. C was originally first implemented on the DEC PDP-11 computer, and C is very flexible and versatile, allowing maximum control with minimum commands, and it is very user-friendly programming language and highly readable. Then we will see what are the features of C programming language. The first feature of C programming language is it is a high-level programming language. If some programming language considered as a high-level language, it is written in English or user-readable language. We write programs in C language like English, user-readable and easy to understand. So, C is a high-level programming language. Then the second feature is C programming language considered as a structured programming language, as it improves the clarity and quality, and it reduces the development time for designing a programming software. If you can remember, I have described what and how the structured programming languages are worked in last lecture. Then the next feature is rich library. C language has its own library which includes most of the arithmetic and logical operations which are predefined. We just have to include the libraries which we need, and we can execute the functionality of those libraries without having to code them separately. The fourth feature is extensibility. The programs which are written in C language are extensible. Extensibility permits programming language users to define new language features. Starting with the base of the C programming language and using various definition facilities, we can create new notations, new data structures, new operations, and etc. Then the next feature is recursion. Recursion is a feature offered by C programming language where we don't have to write the function for multiple times. Instead, wherever we need the function, we just have to call it. This feature reduces the time in the development cycle and also improves the code functionality. Then the next important feature offered by C programming language are the pointers. Using pointers, we can directly interact with the physical memory of the computer system. Then the next one is fast execution. Using C language, the users can execute programs faster. And the last feature is memory management. The C programming language offers many functions where we can dynamically and directly interact with the memory of the computer system. Those are the main features of C programming language. Now we will move to the C programming. Actually, I thought to do C programming theories with the practicals, but unfortunately still the university is closed. So for now we will talk about the theories and I will give examples and explain. After the university reopen, I will teach you how to install C and the IDEs that we can use for C and the things that you want to know in working with C. We need two basic things to program in C. First one is editor, that is for write your codes, and the second one is compiler, that is which converts the program into machine language code. We can get those two things together in IDEs. IDE means integrated development environments. Those provides you both a editor and a compiler together. You can write codes and compile it in the same IDE. For the C programming, we can use the IDEs like NetBeans, CodeBlocks, Eclipse and etc. And we can use any text editor to write the codes. For example, Notepad++, Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text, and there are many text editors. Then there are many C compilers also. Those are depends on the operating system. For example, there is a C compiler called Xcode and it is for Mac OS, and TinyCC for Linux and Windows platforms. And most commonly we are using the CLang or GCC compilers to convert the C program to machine language code. Those both can use in GNU Linux, Windows, Unix and OS X platforms. Now we will see the basic structure of a C program. Hello world. This is the program to print hello world. Before going through the code structure, you can see I have saved the file as first.c. In every time when you are saving a C programming code, you have to give the file extension as .c. Then only it will consider the program as C program. Then this is the file path. I have saved the file in the folder names etc11052 in desktop. Now we will move to the structure of the code. In first 4 lines, you can see a comment, multi-line comment. This is our first C program. This prints hello world. Then inclusion of header files. Hash include header file name. Then the main function. Int main parenthesis, then curly braces. Then again there is a one line comment, single line comment, print a message, printf hello world, return 0. And in the bottom terminal you can see the output. I have used the GCC compiler to convert this program into machine language code. GCC, the file first.c. Then I have used dash o. Dash o means to create the output file as the name first. Then I have run the code dot / first. Then it will print hello world. And in here you can see I have used some indentations for improve the readability. If all the lines typed in one line, it means not using indentation is not an issue for compile and run the program. We are using indentation for just good practice of programming, just to improve the readability of the code. We call this code or the codes you write by C or high level language as source codes. And now we will see one by one of each line that what it means and how we use those things. First, comments. In our program you can see two types of comments. First, in line 1 to 4, multi-line comments. If we want to write somewhat long, more than one line, we can use multi-line comments. It is starting with / asterisk and end with asterisk /. And if we want just one line comment, we can use single line comments. It is starting with double forward slashes. We are using comments to describe the functionalities for humans. It means for documentation. We just write what we did in there by comments to understand who reads the code. And the most important thing in here is comments are ignored by the compiler. He recognizes the comments and he knows that it is not the part of the program. Therefore, there is no issue for generating machine language object code. And then there are two types of comments, as I mentioned earlier, single line and multi-line. Single line comments are starting with double forward slashes, as in the ninth line, print a message. When compiler reads two forward slashes, he knows that is a comment and he will ignore that line. Then multi-line comments are starting with forward slash asterisk and ends with asterisk forward slash, and we can use asterisk for each line in the beginning of the each line. That is for only the improve the readability. For example, as in line 1 to 4 forward slash asterisk, this is our first C program. This prints hello world asterisk forward slash. Next, preprocessor directives as line 6. You can see in the slide hash include inside of the angle brackets stdio.h. These lines are start with hash symbol, then include, then inside of the angle brackets library function .h. .h extension means header file. We call this as preprocessor directives, or otherwise we can say preprocessor commands. This includes a header file to program when you write in C programs. There are already some files we need to include our program to write our projects. For that we are calling these as by header files. For example, in here you can see the very most basic preprocessor command hash include stdio.h. There are other preprocessor commands also, but this is the very basic one. STDIO means standard input output preprocessor. It is responsible for taking inputs or printing outputs. Later you will see in the inside of the main function we are using in line 10 printf keyword to print hello world. To use this predefined keyword, we have to include the header file stdio.h for giving the outputs. There are many other header files hash include, and you can change the name of the header file instead of stdio.h. There is a header file called stdlib.h for general utility functions, and if we want to use mathematical functions in our codes, we need to call math.h file hash include inside of the angle bracket math.h. And there are many preprocessor directives in C libraries. Then functions as lines 8 to 12. In here, this is the main function, basic built-in function that every C program must have. Every program must have at least only the main function. A function is a piece of code which you need to execute. The most basic and the most important function is main function. Now we will see some important things about functions. Every C program consists of one or more functions. A function is a basic program building block. It groups a set of statements which performs a specific task collectively. If there are multiple functions, one function must be the main function, and if there is only one function, that function must be the main function. Always the program execution starts from the main function. If there are many functions in your program, compiler first search for the main function and start to compile that one. So this is the entry point for our program. Typically, the operating system invokes the main function. Normally in C program, there should be only one main function. Every function must contain a function heading, list of arguments included in the heading, and a compound statement. First, we will talk about function heading. The function heading should contain function name followed by an argument list. This argument list is optional and enclosed by parentheses. It means you can pass the arguments if you want, and if you don't have to pass arguments for your program, just put parentheses. And function can return a data to its caller. If a function returns data, we need to specify the return data type before the function name in the function heading. For example, int main. In here, int is the return data type, then function name main, and in here we are not passing any argument, so empty parenthesis. You can see the syntax for function heading in here. Return type, function name, inside of the parenthesis, argument type and the parameter. And here I have given example, int display, inside of the parenthesis, int parameter 1. Here int is the function return type and displays the function name. And inside of the parenthesis, I have given one parameter, parameter 1, and its argument type is int. If a function have multiple parameters, each parameter should separated by a comma. For example, if you want to pass two parameters, one is int and one is float, then you can write the function name and inside of the parenthesis int first parameter, comma float second parameter. Int means integer type parameter and float means decimal value parameter. We can write functions without parameters, like our hello world printing example, function name, then parentheses. But you must have to put parentheses followed by the name if you don't have parameters to pass also. The name of the main function is main, and it is a keyword in C, and it have to be simple letters. The body of the function is a compound statement enclosed with the curly braces. In our example, int main, then opening the curly braces, then function body, printf hello world, return 0, and close of the curly braces. Within curly braces, there may be one or more statements we can put for execution. These statements are called as expression statements. And remember, every expression statement terminates with a semicolon. Every line you must have to put semicolon. It tells C that this line of code is ending here. From next line, we are going to write another line of code. In the example, you can see printf hello world is the expression statement and it is ending with the semicolon. Then we will see about that statement. Output statement in line 9, printf inside of the parenthesis, inside of the double quotes, hello world, \n, and finally out, semicolon. Output statements instruct computers to perform an action on a standard output device. Printf outputs a formatted string to the standard output device desktop. It means when this code executes, it will show hello world in the screen of the PC. I have showed you the output in the beginning of this lesson. Printf is a standard library function from stdio.h, which included the library stdio.h standard input-output header file in the first line of code after the comments. Because of that, we can use printf function in the code body. If we didn't include or call the library, we cannot use those functions in the inside of the code body. Printf, F stands for formatted. Format text can be used to format the output. For example, if we use percentage mark and D, it prints the decimal numbers. There are many output formatted tags. You will learn those tags in when you are programming. Then the escape sequence in line 9. You can see \n followed by the word hello world. In here we want to print only hello world. So why we are using \n? The \n is called as the escape character in here. When compiler sees / in our code, it looks at the next character and builds a sequence of characters, doesn't represent itself. In here, world \n, both world and n are combining together. \n is the escape character that is asked to position the cursor in the beginning of the next line. It means after printing hello world, if you give another something to print, it will print on the next line. If you didn't give \n, then the new thing also print in the same line. In here you can see some common escape sequences. For bell or alert, \a. For the backspace, \b. Horizontal tab, \t. Vertical tab, \v. For the new line, \n. Then for the form feed, \f. Carriage return, \r. Then quotation mark, quotation mark. Then the apostrophe, apostrophe. For the question mark, question mark. Then for the \, you have to put 2 backslashes, and for the null value, \0. And you can see their ASCII values also in the rightmost column. What are the ASCII values? What means by ASCII values? ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Most computers are using ASCII character set. This ASCII code is basically used for identifying characters and numerals in the keyboard. As you all know, computer being a digital machine only understand and represent binary numbers, zeros and ones. It doesn't know what does the character A in the keyboard means. Inside the computer, every character represented by a sequence of binary numbers. ASCII is a character representation scheme based on 7 bits. That means every character in the scheme can be represented as a unique combination of 7 digits. For example, the simple A. The ASCII value for simple A is 97. In binary, we can write it as 11000001. For the capital A, ASCII value is 65. Since 7 bits are used in ASCII, total 2 to the power 7, 128 characters can be represented. It contains numbers from 0 to 9, the uppercase and lowercase English letters from A to Z separately, and some special characters. In the previous slide, you saw the ASCII values for the escape characters. Then the character set in C. Basic building blocks of C program is characters. It includes uppercase letters A to Z, lowercase letters A to Z, digits 0 to 9, and special characters. C language is case sensitive. It means capital A and simple A considered as 2 characters. If a language is case insensitive, capital A and simple A is considered as a same character. But in here, C is case sensitive. Blank lines, space characters and tab characters are called as the white space characters in here. And white space characters are ignored by the C compiler. It means when the code is having white spaces, compiler can recognize them and ignore them like comments and compile the code. In here you can see the special characters in C: tilde, exclamation mark, hash, dollar sign, percentage mark, caret, ampersand, asterisk, left parenthesis, right parenthesis, underscore, plus sign, vertical bar, backslash, apostrophe, minus sign, equal to sign, left brace, left bracket, right bracket, colon, question mark, then quotation, semicolon, opening angle bracket, closing angle bracket, comma, period, and backslash. Then the return statement in line 10. C functions can pass a value to the function caller. To pass a value to the caller, a return statement is used. This return values goes to the program which executed it. For example, to the operating system. Zero exit code represents a normal run, and non-zero values means there was a problem and our program had exit abnormally. It means if the program runs successfully, zero is go to the operating system. If not, there is another non-zero value goes to the operating system. In here I am returning this function by return 0. It means returning integer because in the function heading we use the function return type as int. If we put char as the return type of the function, we have to return a char character, not an integer value. Then the identifiers. Identifiers are names given to various program elements such as variables, functions, etc. Identifiers consist of letters and digits. Uppercase letters A to Z, lowercase letters A to Z, digits 0 to 9 and underscores. In an identifier, first character must be a letter. It cannot be a digit. And there cannot be any embedded blanks in the identifiers. You can use underscores instead of the blanks. In C, identifiers are case sensitive. It means capital T tags and simple T tags are different. If you can remember, in algorithms, those two are considered as same because that is case insensitive. And I have mentioned these things clearly in the naming conventions in algorithms chapter. And you cannot use keywords as identifiers. Now we will see some examples for valid and invalid identifiers. First, valid identifiers. Simple A, simple Y2L, sum underscore 1, underscore temperature, names, student name where N is capital, tax underscore 8, capital table, all are valid identifiers. But in the previous slide, I told you that we have to use a letter as the first character of a identifier. But in here, example 4, underscore temperature. It is starting with underscore. This is a valid identifier. We can use underscore as the first character of an identifier. But normally we are using underscore as the first character in system variables. Now invalid identifiers. First one is 8. It is starting with a digit. So it is a invalid identifier. Then A with double quotes. Double quotes are special characters. We cannot start identifier with a special character and cannot have special characters in an identifier. So this is a invalid identifier. Then index dash number. This dash also special character, so it is a invalid identifier. Then error space flag. There is an embedded blank in here, so it is also invalid identifier. Then default. Default is a keyword in C, so it is also a invalid identifier. Keywords in C. Keywords are the reserved words in a language. In C also there are lots of keywords. It have standard predefined meanings. The keywords can only be used for their intended purpose. For example, int is the keyword for represent the integers. So it can be only used for integer representation. And keywords cannot be used as programmer defined identifiers because they are predefined for various purposes. And all keywords are in lowercase. In here you can see the standard keywords in C: auto, break, case, char, const, continue, default, do, double, else, enum, extend, float, for, go to, if, int, long, register, return, short, signed, size of, static, struct, switch, type def, union, unsigned, void, volatile, while, all are standard keywords. You will learn those keywords when you are programming. Okay, today we got an idea how the simple basic C program contains the fundamentals of basic C program. I have uploaded the PDF version of the slides, find that. And I know this is a little bit harder than earlier lectures, so go through the lesson carefully. And if you have any doubts or anything that you cannot understand, you can contact me through the email. I have given my email address as usual in the first slide. Thank you.